fear was, if she actually did it, how could I live knowing that right now, every single second, she is in agony, and like, how can I function knowing that? So I am a person who stutters, and I stuttered way worse when I was younger. And I was always afraid to talk to people. I was afraid to be around people. I have severe social anxiety. But I've been called to pray for my friends that do not know the Lord and to talk to them. But one thought came to mind. They have lovers, like gay lovers and all that, and other people in their lives that have passed on. And they resisted God. They didn't want anything to do with God because of their lifestyle. But if I ever reach my friends to the Lord and they realize their loved one is in hell, how do I comfort them? How do I tell them? Like, I just don't know how to combat that.
Well, first of all, you sound great, and thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. You sounded great. I understood your question completely. So for you to talk with your friends, and if I understood you correctly, they have lost loved ones who are now in hell.
Yeah.
And you're having to deal with that, right?
Yes, exactly.
So have you had a conversation with them yet, or are you anticipating this?
I'm anticipating.
Okay, my suggestion would be go into it and see if that's what they anticipate or if they even bring that up. Because here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Hell can be a tough topic, but it's as Frank says, I say this all the time, he's like right here as I'm saying it, but sometimes you need a philosopher, sometimes you need a pastor, right?
Yeah.
And there are times that I have been in that very situation, and 90% of the time, you know what I'm doing? Nothing. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Tell me more. Tell me more about your loved one, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not a race, right? It's a marathon to have these conversations, because I promise you they have questions about God. And what we do is we create a God in our own image, right? One that looks like us, talks like us, believes what we believe, doesn't like what we like, or doesn't like and likes what we like. And the more you have those conversations, the more natural it will be to bring up those things.
Yes.
And so hell is a topic that needs to be brought up and talked about, but it's almost like a hardened heart situation. Are they really going to want to hear about that? Are they going to be ready for that? Yeah. So I would think timing would be a wise thing, to be wise and when to bring things up and how. Great book, mentioned him a few times, Tactics by 𝗥𝗘𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗘𝗗. It's really good. It helps you read the room, helps you really kind of understand how to have cadence in a conversation. Frank, do you have anything to add?
One question I would ask the person who lost somebody and thinks they died and went to hell is this question. The person that you loved, if they're in hell right now, what would they want you to decide?
Okay.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And there's scriptural precedent for this. This is Luke 16.
Yeah.
You remember the rich man is in Hades, and Lazarus is in Abraham's bosom, another word for the afterlife where later becomes heaven. And Lazarus says, the rich man says to Lazarus, or tell Lazarus to come down and put some water on my tongue because I'm in agony in this fire. And he's still treating Lazarus like Lazarus is his servant. And he's not saying I shouldn't be here. What does he say instead? Go tell my brothers about this place.
Yeah.
And the way Jesus talks about it is he says back to this guy, they have Moses and the prophets. If they don't believe them, they're not even going to believe if someone rises from the dead.
Yeah.
So I would just ask, what do you think your loved one would want you to decide?
Okay.
See what they say.
The reason why I asked this is because I had fear, extreme fear about my sister.
You have extreme fear about your what?
My sister.
Oh, for your sister.
So she tried committing suicide 5 times. And the fear was, if she actually did it, how could I live knowing that right now, every single second, she is in agony, and like, how can I function knowing that?
How can you function knowing that your sister would be in hell?
And if she didn't say anything about it before she
agony.
died.
Yeah. And you didn't say anything about it?
Yeah.
This is your wheelhouse. You wanna?
Huh?
You wanna go?
No, go.
Oh, okay. Because you do that. Yeah. I'm like, I already know what you're gonna say. Yeah, I've heard him a lot. There's a level of emotional hardness that we have with this topic. Okay. I struggled with hell a lot when I first became a Christian for that reason, right? And the thing I had to realize is that at the end of the day, I'm not responsible for anybody's choices, right? If I've sinned, I need to repent. I need to make that right.
Okay.
But there's no way that I have control over what somebody else decides, right?
Yeah.
You said you had anxiety. I get that. That's hard. At the center of anxiety is control.
Yes.
That's really what it is, right? It's fear. I'm pretty sure that's what hell feels like, by the way, like having a panic attack. It's awful. But at the center of it, it is letting go of that control, right?
Yeah.
And having responsibility for you. You can't control what anybody else thinks, and that torment of the consequence of somebody's choice should keep us in a mindset of constantly sharing the gospel so that people don't go there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I know that can be like an emotional thing to deal with whenever somebody you love. I have to deal with that. There are people in my family and that I'm close to that I think about that all the time. And I pray for them.
Yes.
And I put it in God's hands and I let it go because I know that that's not me, it's not my choice, right? And there's a peace and comfort that I can get from that while still grieving their disbelief. What do you got to add?
I was just going to add one thing. As I mentioned earlier, there's 2 things you can get in the afterlife, grace or justice. Is justice a good thing?
Yes.
Or to
Yes,
be
we
good,
all
yes.
want justice,
Yes.
right?
In
And
God's
since
standard,
God
yes.
is perfectly just, whoever is in hell is going to get the appropriate amount of justice for what they've done and continue to do in hell, because sinning continues in hell.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have grace. I know this is going to sound odd, but it's true. Hell is a good thing because people get justice. And they've rejected grace. That's on them. They don't. In fact, C.S. Lewis wrote a whole book about this called The Great Divorce, where he tried to take people in hell and bring them to heaven, and they were misfits in heaven.
Well,
They're getting what they deserve. Now, we would pray that they would select grace, but that's up to them. God's not going to force people into heaven against their will. And look, I can hardly control what I do. I can't control what other people do. All you can do is bring Christ to everyone. You can't bring everyone to Christ. That's all you can do.
exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so
Yep.
much.